My mom was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer. Here's what you need to know. You see, when I was in my second year of medical school, my mom was diagnosed with metastatic brain cancer. One morning, she woke up and was having trouble using her right hand. She liked to write letters and couldn't write her letter. We took her to the hospital where she underwent a CAT scan, and on the CAT scan, she had like 7 tumors in her brain. My mom initially didn't know the diagnosis that she had all these tumors in her brain, but she knew something was wrong. She was admitted to the hospital that day and started on steroids to help with brain swelling. She didn't know her diagnosis as of yet. I remember waking up the next morning and knowing that she had cancer in her brain. I knew this was a death sentence. And it was like waking up from a nightmare, but you couldn't truly wake up because it was real life. I went to the hospital early that morning and went into my mom's room where it was dark. She was in bed crying terribly, and I asked her what was wrong, and she said that the doctor had stopped in and told her that she had brain cancer and most likely didn't have long to live. I was so upset. I mean, why would a doctor come in and tell somebody that without having any family there? And in my practice, that's something I've never done because of my mother and what happened that day. I always try to make sure family is around when I'm going to tell someone bad news, especially if they have terminal cancer. My mother was put through extensive treatment. She went through 2 brain surgeries. She went through radiation therapy. All her hair fell out. I remember her vomiting, being sick each day. It was a horrible thing to watch your mother go through. After about a month or so, I started to see changes in my mom, and she wasn't my mom anymore. She would say things that didn't make sense, and it was so disheartening. From the day she was diagnosed to the day my mother died was almost exactly 3 months, even with all the extensive treatment she went through. From that experience with my mother, I learned the hard way that more is not always better, and certainly quality of life, I think, is more important than the quantity of days you have. Because in the end, I now realize that we put my mother through all the extensive treatment more for the sake of ourselves than for her sake, because we couldn't accept that she was going to die, and we couldn't let go. Sometimes the most humane treatment is no treatment or minimal treatment, but when I speak to families as a neurosurgeon, what I always keep in mind is what's best for the patient and try to be honest with the family so they can make good decisions, because in the end, it's the patient and their family that have to live with these decisions the rest of their lives. And I only learned this important lesson because of my mother's death.